made this patch. Looks pretty good. Not gonna be no Bob Ross painting here. Throw them in the trash and be done with it. They'll start to look like a truck again. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Southern Maryland Squarebodies. Thanks for checking out the channel. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe. Today we're going to get back to doing some more rust repair on the 87 K5 back here. We're going to do the cab cross member, patching up a section of that needs to be replaced, as well as the upright support that ties the cab subframe to the cab cross member. If you're not familiar with this truck, it's 1987 Blazer. Been doing a ton of rust repair on it. Rocker panels, floors, cab supports, tail pan, different parts and pieces that have rotted out that need replacing. So doing a full rust repair series on this one. Check out my other videos to see how we got to where we are today. I'm hoping today that we're going to be able to get the setting floor pans in place. I don't see why we can't make it that far today. So let's see what we can get done. You might have noticed I have a Southern Maryland Squarebodies hoodie on. Something I've been playing around with and working on is putting together a line of merchandise. I have this hoodie. It's got a black and white logo on the front, color logo on the back. I'm going to do hats, Richardson 112 hats, comfort color t-shirts, different variations of my logo. Like I said, black and white logo, my color logo. I put together a version of my logo that is camouflage for you hunters and people that enjoy wearing camouflage. I'm one of you. So just something that I've been playing with, putting together. If merchandise is something that you'd be interested in, please let me know and I'll get the ball rolling on that. But for now, let's get to work on this old Blazer back here and see what we can get done. So you see, I got everything in here cut out. All the stuff that was rotted, cut it back as far as it needed to go, as far as the body cross member and stuff here. Was able to figure out exactly what all I needed to address, what was rotted, what was just rusty, needed to be cleaned up. See my fender well here, that survived. There wasn't any rot, just some surface rust, so got lucky on that one. Down here on this body subframe where that upright support sits, that had rotted out, so I cut that out, made a little patch panel. I'm going to get that welded in and painted. I made this patch for the body cross member. It sits up in here, welded up. It kind of rests on this little lip here where they on the fender well. So we'll get it welded up in there. And I made this piece. This is the upright support that welds in here and it goes to the body cross member. We'll get all that welded in, get it painted up, clean this little bit of nastiness up, get that painted, and then it's time to start going back together with the floor. So we're making good progress. After the floor is in, then I can make this side patch, which is basically just a rectangle that sits in there, and then you cut out along where this seam is down to the rocker panel. So I'm happy. We're making good progress. Well, there you have it. I have gotten all this welded up in there. Looks pretty good. It looks like it's supposed to anyway, so that makes me happy for being far from a professional. Anytime you get everything sitting in there and it looks right, makes you feel good about yourself. So obviously I got to clean up these welds here. No big deal. Take care of that. Got a little section here in this cross member that was thinner than I liked, so I went ahead, cut that out. I'll get a patch made up for that before I do this little front lip of the rear floor. No big deal. That'll be a 10-minute project. But yeah, we'll get the welds ground down back here, get everything painted. Then it's time to move on to the floor. That's awesome. I love getting to this part because the floor pans are big and they make you feel like you're doing a lot of work in a little amount of time. So I think I'm going to do the front floor first because I didn't have to go into the footwell, getting the rot cut out. So it's going to be really simple getting the front floor lined up in place where it's supposed to be. So I'll get that in there. And then once that's in, I'll have a reference for doing my rear floor. The rear floor is a little more difficult because the AMD patch panel for back here, it's not exactly 100% perfect. There's some differences, like this radius here where the bottom of the floor meets the back. There's a radius from the factory, but the AMD one is basically a 90-degree bend. So there's some differences there. There's some differences in the width of the floor patch itself. So you got to do some working, making things happen to get the back floor to fit pretty well. But we'll get the front floor in, have somewhere, to base where I'm going to lay the rear floor, make sure it lines up, looks good, and we're going to roll along with it. We'll get the floors in, get the rockers in, get, all the little bits and pieces like this. Like I said before, we'll get those little things done. But this is the part where you start getting a lot of things done really quickly. So I'm excited to be at this point. It's awesome. So we're going to get to work doing the floors and see how much we can get done before we got to call it a day. So after I got to looking at it a little bit more, and thinking about what I did on the passenger side, I'm going to tack in the rocker panel first because you see this floor section has part of the inner rocker integrated with it. So I'm going to get the rocker panel tacked up in here before I get to messing with the floor. I'm not going to make the rocker permanent just yet, but I want the rocker sitting in there so that I know pretty much how my floor should sit. So you can see out here I got some paint where I need to trim some of the edge on this rocker, stuff that I don't need to replace. I can't believe I don't have to replace this part. That's an extremely common rust point on these trucks, but mine's solid as could be. So I'll take it. I will not complain about less rust repair. So let's get to work on these rockers real quick, get them stuck up in there, and then we can start getting the floors put on.
think that'd be all right. It's the rocker. Well, the door sags, of course, because it's a square body with original hinges and hinge pins and stuff. So get some sag out of that door. But the rocker's also sitting a little high because it's not exactly where it's going to be when it gets welded in. So overall, the fit's good. I'm happy with how it's going to sit. I just got to make a mental note that's probably about an 1/8 inch high because I don't know if you can see it, but here it's sitting on top of the old rocker. So just make a note for myself that this is just a hair high, but that's cool. We can go ahead and rock and roll on getting the floors prepped to set them in place. So I put my Pour 15 in mason jars because I don't know if you've ever used it or not, but if you take the lid off the can, use it, and then try to put the lid back on without getting every single drop of Pour 15 out of the ring where the lid goes, it's almost impossible to open the can back up without absolutely destroying the can. So when I get a can of Pour 15, I put a strainer over top of a mason jar and pour the paint inside a mason jar and store it in the fridge because, like I said, you won't never get the top back off that can after you use it the first time. And you store it in the fridge because it like triples the shelf life. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit these areas with Pour 15 before I stick the floor pan back on top of it. Not gonna be no Bob Ross painting here. Just hitting it real quick with some Pour 15, just something to protect the bare metal. I buy these little brushes off of Amazon, a pack of like 20 something for next to nothing. You don't want to go to Lowe's or your hardware store and try to buy nice brushes to use with the Pour 15 because they're pretty much a one-time use. Pour 15 is potent stuff. It's hard to clean. So don't waste your time buying nice brushes. Just take these old cheap brushes, do what you got to do, throw them in the trash and be done with it. So you see here, before I got this welded in place, I went underneath of it and I traced out where all my spot welds are going to have to go. You know, this is the plate right here by where your feet rest, and this is the that cab subframe that runs back there. So go underneath the truck, lay that stuff out so you can lay out your spot welds, drill your holes, clean up the paint around the holes that you drill. A lot easier to do this kind of stuff now than try to do it after you get the floor pan tacked in place and then you're trying to guess where your spot welds need to go. Just do it ahead of time. That way when you drop it in place, you got holes and you fill them in and you're solid, good to go. So there you have it. We got the first little bit of floor put back in the driver's side of this thing. I'm happy to finally be at this point. It's a lot of work getting here, but finally getting to this step of the process definitely feels great. Once you start getting the floors in, like I said earlier, it goes quick. So I'm definitely tickled to death to finally be making good progress here. We got just that little bit there where it goes up into the kick well to do, and then over here where the patch panel just simply isn't wide enough to cover the whole floor. No big deal, just cut out extra what you need from scrap laying around around the garage. I got plenty of scrap little sheet metal pieces, so we'll get that done up and then get the back section of floor in place. They'll start to look like a truck again. So, all right, guys, we're going to call that a day. Made a lot of progress. I'm happy with it. You can't be too upset with days like today. You can actually see the fruits of your labor, more or less. So that's great. I'm happy with what I got done today. Even though it's not done per se, but a rocker panel is sitting in there, floor pan sitting in there. Some pieces that were just a gaping hole are now, they're solid again. So anytime you make that kind of progress, it makes you feel good. So, we're rolling in the right direction. That's what we like to see. Thank you so much for watching the video, checking out the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe if you liked what you saw today. There's plenty more to do. Got the floors to finish up on this, finalize the rocker panels, make them 100% complete. We're going to be doing the interior on this as soon as I put the welder down. Got all the interior to put back in it. Some of the stuff I'm going to refresh. Some of the stuff I'm going to buy new.
So there's, even when the metal work's done, there's a ton of content to come on the Blazer. The green truck, that one is right around the corner. It's not going to be long before I start hacking on that thing. I'm excited to get the floors put in it, get that thing lowered, get it about 2 feet shorter. So it's coming. Won't be long. Nice weather's right around the corner. Today it's 40-mile-an-hour winds and about 40 degrees, and we've had snow left and right, it seems, this winter, but we're almost over that hump, and the nice weather's almost here, and we can start really enjoying these old trucks, not just working on them. Can't wait to get out to some shows and see some of you guys. Hopefully I get to meet some of y'all who watch my videos. I appreciate each and every one of y'all who watches my videos. I just want to make sure y'all know that. But for now, I'm gonna go cook my wife and kids some dinner as a thank you for letting me play in the garage all day. Probably another couple weeks, I'll be back out here working on it and making some more content for you guys to help pass your time. So for now, thank you. Take care. God bless you. We'll see you next time.